After years of abuse, my parents tried to rewrite history and pretend we were a happy family. I collected proof of every lie they told, and then chose a revenge so subtle they never even saw it coming. Ever since I was a kid, my mom made it crystal clear that if my dad tried to praise or reward me, all hell would break loose. I remember being 9 years old and my mom yelling at me for overeating at dinner. Tears filled my eyes, and I looked up at my dad, hoping he'd stand up for me. "Honey, don't you think you're being a little unreasonable?" My mom stormed off without letting him finish. That was the last time my dad ever tried to be nice to me. One time when I was 12 and had gotten dirt on my shoes, my mom took a deep breath to prepare for her yelling, but my dad beat her to it. "Son, you're almost a teenager, and you still haven't learned how to stop being a worthless piece of crap?" I looked down at the ground, trying to put my tongue to the roof of my mouth to stop myself from crying. In the corner of my eye, I saw my mom with a huge smile on her face. She hugged my dad and even whispered "good job" into his ear. It was then that I realized our family was about my mom, not about me. And as I got older, the yelling turned to violence, and I hated my parents. Every time my dad did something wrong, like forget to load the dishwasher or not immediately reject a woman who was simply looking in his general direction, he'd make it up to her through me. Through trashing my room and forcing me to tidy it up, by waking me up at 4 a.m. on a Saturday morning to clean the entire house top to bottom. It always worked for a while, but it was never enough for her. And one day, he started to realize that. I was using her phone as a calculator for my homework when I saw a notification pop up. "You look so good last night," it said, from a number I didn't recognize. My curiosity piqued, and I read through their entire chat. A chaotic excitement immediately filled my veins. If I could just show my dad what she's been doing, maybe he'd be on my team again, I thought to myself. But as soon as my hopes went up, they were shot down. Because when I showed him the texts, his hand aggressively met my face. "How dare you go through your mother's phone," he said. But at this point, I was so desensitized to his violence that I didn't respond, just went back to doing my homework. But things changed after that. My dad started making eye contact with me again, became a little quieter during disagreements, wailed on me a little less. It was around this time that I ended up moving out for college and going NC with my mom. And the most contact I had with my dad was a yearly Merry Christmas and Happy Birthday text, because I was done, especially after seeing all my friends' parents who seemed to fight over who loved them more, not less. Fast forward 4 years later. I'm now 23, and my dad invited me over last Thanksgiving. By this point, I had a bachelor's degree in engineering, a solid beginner's job, and a pretty good car, so I felt secure in myself enough to attend. Plus, after years of therapy and real friendship, I had come to the conclusion that my mom's opinion means nothing to me, and my dad's a little beach if he tries to put me down this time. When I showed up, I didn't know what to expect, but it definitely wasn't my dad greeting me with a hug. The first hug he'd given me since I was a child. I still kept my guard up, but hugged him back. My mom was still cooking while we caught up. There was a lot of tension, but for the first time in a while, I had hope. That's when we sat down for dinner. I planned on staying quiet, only speaking when spoken to, basically maintaining the dinner time procedure from my childhood. "Ahem," my mom said, staring at my dad. I immediately realized my elbows were on the table and took a deep breath, bracing for impact. "Honey, he's not a kid anymore. We don't have to do that stuff." My eyes widened when he said this, and I could see rage form in my mom's eyes. "I knew you never loved me," she muttered under her breath before continuing to eat. At that moment, something in my dad's brain clicked. The air of the room changed, and I knew my mom noticed it too. He took his phone out and started going through his camera roll. There was a lot of aggression in his voice. "Remember when I bought you this? Remember when I planned this date for you? What have you ever done for me?" My mom's face went red, and this time she was the one to go silent. There was a long pause, and my dad